So I wanted to ask you both about, for you personally, what was the impact of the film, meeting the coaches and the players? What was your takeaway from the film? Alex, let's start with you.
I think it's a great story of these two men, Bob and Terry, who, amongst all the craziness and the commotion that a sports can bring, and in a very good way, they never lost sight of why they were there. Ironically, that's why they won all those games, is because they were there to teach kids to become men and to become depended on. And in terms of faith, that I think was a huge part of bringing them together. And I think being in that school, when not only were they in the same classrooms and whatnot, but they had each other to lean on and whatnot. That was a very, very big part of why they were successful and why they were so close.
Right.
Well, the race isn't given to the swift or the strong, but to the one who can endure unto the end. And this story hits that right on the head. I mean, when you think about the story of Job in the Bible, and not to compare this story to Job, but the tribulations and stuff that he was able to go through and still maintain his faith in God at the end of the day, I related that to my character, to Cam Colvin, between losing a mother, losing a father, losing a best friend, and having your sibling wrenched from your arms. You can't lose much more than that in life. And in order, all of our faiths are shaken and tested at times. But to hold on to God and know that in the end He'll never leave you or forsake you, that's one of the biggest proponents of when the game stands tall. And I'm ecstatic to be able to tell that story.
Yeah. And I know sometimes in the world, faith is looked at something that can hold you back. Do you see that, like faith, in this case, we see as making them better football players? Do you agree with that theme in your life?
Anyone who tells you that faith can never hold you back has never been through anything. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for. You know what I mean? And we have to hold on to that. We have to have something to believe in because there is a higher power. You know what I mean? There's no way that we would be here if there weren't. You know what I mean? We're not machines. And so at the end of the day, faith and holding on to what is to come is probably one of the most important lessons in life that we have to have, because it keeps you going. It's that fuel that you need to survive.
And Alex, a great theme in your character was humility. How did you approach that? Because that was the big turning point of the game, the movie, I thought. Humble yourself.
Yeah, it was very humble of him, but at the same time, the reason he did that was to show the coaches that what they do does make a difference.
To honor them.
And to honor them, and that it's not about winning the games. And Cam knew that from the beginning. And it's about becoming men and knowing that you can be dependent on and giving a perfect effort. So that was kind of an homage to like
and I don't mean
back.
to cut you off, but
No,
I have
do.
to say this, but even in real life, this guy is tremendously successful. But when you sit down and have a conversation with him, he is one of the most humble guys ever. So this was not a stretch from who he is in real life. We were getting stopped constantly in the streets and people asking him for autographs, or people walking by and just taking pictures without asking, and he was so gracious about it at all times. He was making people's days, you know what I mean, by maintaining that level of humility, and that, which I told him when I first met him, that's what's going to increase his trajectory and make him continue to go as far as he is going. So, he played himself almost.
I love you, man.
Don't touch me.